Hey, welcome to EnviroTalk. This is one of our, I think, our third program here so far, but I'm Travis Bowman with the EnviroWorkshops, and we train environmental professionals all over the globe. We've actually been in, I think I've said this on the other programs, but we've done 6 continents, 20 different countries. We've seen 20,000 environmental professionals register. But our goal is really keeping the environmental professional up to date with the latest technologies in the industry. And really, we focus our training on contaminated soil, groundwater, and air pollution. And if you're not familiar with the community, the environmental community is massive. It's about $1 trillion a year that's spent worldwide to clean up the contamination all over the world. So it's a massive industry. And our speakers that speak at our workshops are leaders in the industry, and many of them are world-renowned, speaking at conferences all over the globe. So speaking of all over the globe, well, check out our website, EnviroWorkshops.com, but also check out EnviroSummit.com, because we're holding a global conference in Charlotte, North Carolina, September 1st, 2nd, and 3rd. And so check out the details there. We'll have speakers coming from all over the globe and really just talking about some of the accelerating trends that they're seeing and what they're dealing with, and what are some of the technologies they're using to mitigate some of the pollution in their neck of the woods or in their regions of the world. So pollution is a global problem. And of course, we're dealing with a global problem called the coronavirus right now, a pandemic. And so we're really going to get dive into that here today on this program on EnviroTalk. So today we have with us a phenomenal guest. Dora Taggart is the President of Microbial Insights. She speaks around the globe. I've been with her in Australia, Europe, across really she's spoken in probably every country you can imagine. And they're a microbial lab. They're the leaders when it comes to molecular tools. And so I won't steal any of her thunder. So Dora, welcome to our program here today.
Thank you so much, Travis. It's great to be here. Excited to talk to you, as always.
That's right. It has been fun, I will say, traveling with you around the globe. And granted, if I could only just pick your brain with all the different things that you have in your wealth of knowledge and vast experience of this industry, I could sit there and take notes for years. And all the things that you have done for our industry. When it comes to molecular tools, I don't think anybody else knows it better, frankly, than you, Dora. So tell us a little bit about Microbial Insights and maybe the founding and where it started and where you've come to today.
Sure. Microbial Insights is an environmental lab. As you know, we've been in business since 1992. We were founded as a technology transfer from research that Dr. David White did. Dr. White was both an MD, medical doctor, and a PhD researcher. So he was always so curious about the environment and human interaction with the environment. And how do we bring the tools? We're in the medical industry where there's more money, to the environmental world where we have no money to develop new testing. And how do we, communicate with the microorganisms that are in the subsurface to understand the processes that are happening. So then we can harness the energy that Mother Nature already has down there with these microorganisms and be able to clean up the environment much more efficiently. And really the goal for all of us at the company, and Dr. White's goal, was to clean up groundwater, to make it better for human population, to have a positive impact on human health. And I think that's why we're all here working so hard in this field.
True. And you have offices around the globe, and tell us a little bit more about that.
We do. Microbial Insights is based in Knoxville, Tennessee, where a lot of Dr. White's research was originally done. And that's where I am today. But we also have locations in Australia, Belgium, Germany, Canada, China, and we're doing a lot of work in the Middle East. So that's probably on the horizon. And then we also have a sales rep in Italy. So doing a lot of work globally. We've worked in almost 40 countries around the world and all 50 states here in the United States. So thank goodness for FedEx and shipping industry worldwide. We're able to get samples from everywhere to one of our labs to make it convenient so that we can truly have a global impact on what we're doing in the environment.
Yeah. Extraordinary work that you all do, for sure. I mean, when it comes to the molecular tools, I don't have the chemistry degree that you, and I know some of your staff, PhDs, and just an extraordinary group that you all have. So every time I hear you all's presentations and talk and your talk, I learn something every single time. It always amazes me. So here we are dealing with a global pandemic. Let's talk about some of the standard of operating procedures, maybe you all in your lab, and some of the things that maybe you all have had to shift to really, make sure that you're still meeting the needs of your customer and your clients.
Yeah, I mean, these are definitely challenging and unprecedented times that we're seeing now. So Microbial Insights, like all other businesses, we're really having to adapt on the moment and be actively involved, worldwide, and understanding what's happening, and just making changes to our lab environment, even as the situation unfolds. The good thing is we've been deemed as an essential business because we serve so many essential businesses, so we can continue to receive samples, perform analysis, and continue to serve our clients. But in-house, we've done quite a few things to try to help protect our team. We continuously monitor the updates that are put out from not only our local authorities, but also looking at what the CDC and OSHA are saying as guidelines. We've developed an infectious disease response plan, including social distancing on site with our staff, better hygiene practices. I think we're all learning how important that is.
Right.
And increased disinfection of our non-laboratory surfaces that are, in our facility. The advantage is we're all familiar as scientists with aseptic technique, and we've worked in the lab, all of us, for so many years. So what we're doing now is applying that to our entire building. Fortunately, we have a lot of space in our building, so I've been able to spread people out, and we've been able to continue working as normal. So I'm very grateful. We're very blessed to be able to continue to do that.
That's fantastic. So the impact to meeting your needs, meeting your customers' needs, and making sure that you're getting laboratory work or the services that they're requesting, you're able to continue on without any issues then?
Yeah, we are. And, we have a strong customer service mentality as a company. And I think we've always felt that that's really important. But yeah, as with everyone else, there's really no business as normal. We're kind of, going on the fly and trying to make sure all of our people are protected. But we're continuing to accept samples, perform analysis, deliver results, all the same turnaround times. We've been very lucky to be able to continue like we are, and been talking to clients even this morning, helping them with different projects that they're setting up. So part of our plan for continued operation and uninterrupted service is to make sure we check with our supply chains. We have an ample supply of consumables, sampling supplies, and all the reagents that we need so that we can continue uninterrupted. We're also in contact with, other supply chains outside of ours, just to make sure that upstream we're not going to have any impact. And then one thing that we're doing as an additional measure is we're cleaning and disinfecting all coolers and sampling supplies that are shipped out, so that those bottles, when they're handled in the field, are clean. So we're using the same disposable gloves we use in the lab with all handling, just so that we can make sure the surfaces are as clean as we possibly can.
Excellent. I was going to ask you about that because I know obviously you're taking in samples from the field, mm-hmm. and then you're testing them there in the lab, and then you're turning around and sending them out. And so I was curious about that. What kind of protection or procedures you're putting in place there as it goes back out?
Yeah, we are always very careful about the sterility of our sampling supplies. So now we're sterilizing inside and out.
Inside,
not just inside the bottle, but outside as well.
Some strange times. Have you seen any? I guess because you're all dealing with projects all over the world, but have you seen any kind of new regulations from state or government or anything like that have impacted maybe some of the projects you're working on in light of the coronavirus?
Yeah, we continuously monitor all the different authorities that we can. I've been looking at that Johns Hopkins site and looking at countries around the world and how the virus is impacting. To date, there really haven't been any restrictions that have hampered our ability to continue to service on the molecular side. The biggest challenge that I've run into are travel restrictions, just like everyone else. It's been a challenge to adapt how we think in getting out and reaching out to people. Fortunately for us, like I mentioned earlier, FedEx is still delivering and likely will continue to do this through this strange time. So everybody can order online, and we're just learning to do things a little more remotely. The good news is most of the clients I've talked to are focusing on local sites that are in driving distance, and the EPA is having them continue to do regulation of sites. Because if you think about it, it's really important to assess the coronavirus and to prevent the spread, but we also don't want to let our groundwater quality get out of control during this period. So we have to think about the environment as a whole, the impact we're having, and be cautious with our people, but also make sure we're doing everything we can. So in the end, we come back to the world, kind of as we know it. So we're not, creating a bigger problem. With that said, I miss seeing you guys. I enjoy our travels together. So I'm looking forward to getting back on the road again and back to doing the environmental workshops, and life is normal so we can see everybody face to face. But for now, it's taught me a lot about video conferencing.
Right. I know. Who would have thought that Zoom was such a big deal, right? All of a sudden, everybody's using Zoom regularly.
Yeah,
like
expanded internet capability, right?
It's crazy. Crazy. Well, anything else that you've seen in our industry in light of the coronavirus or just the impact? It's good to know, much like you said, I mean, I think you hit the nail on the head that our industry is continuing to work on the contamination that is there and continue to clean it up versus just, shut it all down. Let's just stop and deal. Because like you said, 2-3 months later, whatever, we come back and now it's in a worse condition than some of these sites. Matter of fact, when we had one of our other guests, I think it was Matt Geary, and he was just talking about, some of these sites, of course, are life at risk type sites. I mean, so here we are, of course, with the coronavirus crisis, trying to save lives, which I get. At the same time, some of the projects that we're working on in the environmental industry are also people's lives are at stake.
They are, and I just talked to a regulator from Maine yesterday, and he was telling me that they were trying to continue from home business as normal, and he feels like he's been tasked by the public as a public servant with the money that he's paid to be in the regulatory agency. So he's very concerned to continue to protect the groundwater of his local constituents. Also, he's concerned to make sure that if there are systems that could, rupture or change, or if maybe you could have leaks or things that happen in different systems that could cause flooding, or there's all kinds of human impact that happens from our industry that we don't think about, how critical we are as the infrastructure of the United States. We're a small component, but we're a really critical component for all these industrial applications to continue and to be safe for us. So we don't want to let something that is horrible that's happening to create something that, an additional source that's horrible as well. So I was really surprised, and it was really beautiful to see and to hear how people are responding during this time, how much they care about each other and care about the environment as a whole. So I'm proud of our industry. I don't think I could work anywhere that I'm more proud of what we're doing. I'm just, so impressed by everyone and their professionalism during such a hard time.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, it was good to have Robert Wagenveld from QM Environmental. Of course, I know he will work with him since he represents some bioremediation technologies. But over there in Europe right now, as of right now, he was on a project or a site just that morning, and so they're still out continuing to deal with the environmental issues. And so I agree. I think around the globe so far, I've seen people still very active, busy, still just putting new standard operating procedures in place, but continuing to get work done. So
yeah,
that's good to hear in Maine. That's great to hear that regulator saying that. So
yeah, I was just so proud to hear that the regulatory agency cares about us that much to make sure, from a human health perspective, we're protecting ourselves as much as we can. Yeah,
exactly right. Well, thank you so much for coming on the program, Dora. I know you're very busy trying to run a global operation, so I appreciate you coming on. And I look forward to getting back out there to the workshops too, once this is behind us and we feel safe at gathering again. So thanks so much.
All right. Thank you so much, Travis.
All right. Have a good day.
You too. Bye-bye.
Bye. Let's see. I want to stop the video, right? First. Stop recording.